All right, look who's not dead. And here's shooting a wrap-up video of 2022. For all you guys that reached out to me and showed me love, all the messages, all the phone calls, all the visits, you're the reason why I'm here today. Had some pretty close calls. A few people have already told the story, which is totally cool. I know the 3PO podcast mentioned it. Shout out to them. If you're not watching the 3PO podcast, you're definitely missing out. It's by far the best podcast on there. You got Laser Pants, Bobby Val, and Desert Rat. Supposedly they're going to have a Articulated Ninja on there, I think this week, which is something that I'm really looking forward to. Ninja, if you do the show, let me help you out here, bro. I know you're thinking about popping that mask. Let me give you some reminders. When Spider-Man wears his mask, he's a superhero. When he takes off his mask, he's just some random teenager. When Kylo Ren came on screen with that mask, I thought he was going to be the new Darth Vader. Once he took it off, I realized he was just a bitch. When the Mandalorian was laying there getting ready to fade out, and he popped his mask, he was just a man. The mystery of the mask is part of being a superhero. Ninja, you do what you want to do, bro. My suggestion is keep that fucking thing on. Keep the mystery alive. Either way, 3PO podcast, they threw me a shout. Much love for those guys. Definitely check them out. Then Articulated Ninja did just an amazing video about it. Talked to him a few times. Please check that out. Tons of love from every direction. It's all the love that was helping me get better. If you're not checking out Articulated Ninja, his videos are some of the best I've ever seen. His channel is just blowing the fuck up. He does amazing content way better than the shit I do. Definitely check him out. And Sharp reached out to me. Been friends with Sharp for a while. And he did an amazing video. Really good breakdown. Tons of love came from that. There's always a couple haters, but I'm cool with that. That doesn't really bother me. I'm usually one of the haters myself. That meant the world to me. I think all the positive energy is where it got me where I am today. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Came home for a week. Started to decline. My chick took me back to the hospital. They ran some tests. They found some shit that they didn't see before. They kind of helped me out with that. Then I got back home. And after reading about 500 positive comments, I'm actually starting to feel pretty good. Shart already did a really good breakdown of what happened. This is how it went down. The weekend before Christmas, I went riding my dirt bike in Mesquite. It's a pretty serious track out there. They got like a triple kind of a jump that you jump into, like a gravity cavity, kind of a hole. And then as soon as you land, you jump out. The jump out's pretty easy. The jump is I call them a high risk jump. It's a fairly big jump, probably about 100 feet. If you go long, it's probably like 110 feet, and I definitely went long. I was riding there with my buddies. Thank God I was riding there with my buddies. I hit this jump every time I go there. I've never really had a problem with it before. This time they just had my number. I jumped out in front of my buddy. I knew that if I could cut him off, it would give me encouragement to hit the jump. For he could hit it after me, we could just start doing our moto. I went out there, I gave it a little bit too much gas. I went extremely long. And I don't remember this is just what I was told. And then I kind of landed into the face of the next one. And when I hit, my body just kind of imploded on my bike. A few weeks back, I pulled this shoulder out again for a countless time. They think that my shoulder gave out and I kind of collapsed against it. That might have been where some of the breakage came from. I think I might have got knocked out right then. And then me and my bike kind of rolled off the track. They think that my bike landed on top of me. Instantly, that my buddy that was behind me pulled over. He flagged down my other buddy, Tyler. Tyler came there, then John flagged down Rat. Rat came over, he helped me. A couple other people ran over to help me. John went, ran, called the ambulance. He said I was telling him not to call the ambulance. I don't even remember being alive that day. He called them anyway. The ambulance got there in 2 minutes. I don't know how they got me off the mountains, but they did. As soon as the ambulance people saw me, they called Fight for Life. They got me down, got me ready to go into the helicopter. The only thing I remember about it is I remember hearing the helicopter. And I remember them putting me in the helicopter. I don't remember seeing it. They said I was arguing with them, like not to lay me down, because if you lay me down, I can't breathe, which is usually the case. I don't know if they sat me up or if they laid me down. And then everything went black after that. They flew me to St. George, which St. George is in Utah. It's right outside of Vegas, 2 hours out of Vegas. They asked if they could fly me to Vegas. They said no, that I probably wouldn't make it because it's an extra 20 minutes to get to Vegas and then to St. George. My buddy John, Tyler, and Rat, they got all my wallet, my phone, my glasses, all my important shit. Packed it with me. Got my dirt bike, got all my shit back to Vegas for me, which was just amazing. Like, it's just so good to have good friends. It's life-changing when you have good friends out there. They flew me to the hospital. When I woke up, my girl was standing there, tears in her eyes, trying to fight them back. I didn't know what happened. I think it might have been like a doctor or a surgeon in the room. And then they were trying to explain to me what happened, you know. Oh, this happened, not too bad. Nobody would tell me how serious the injuries were because they didn't want me to give up hope. And Shard already kind of broke it down. I'll repeat it. My breast muscle got completely ripped off the bone. It got shoved into my armpit. They pulled that back. I went and looked at it. It looks like they put it on sideways or something. My whole torso looks a little off, looks a little deformed. Hopefully that will come back around for me. Broke 14 bones, bruised my liver, collapsed both lungs. I think I punctured one, I might have punctured two. Had a ton of internal bleeding. As soon as the helicopter got there, they put 5 bags of blood in me. I know I was always bragging that I'm unvaccinated, but I'm sure I'm vaccinated now. But that's the least of my worries. I got 6 titanium plates right here up my sternum, which kind of hold it all together. And then I bruised my lung. All right, I bruised my heart, and they said I shifted it over a little bit. So it was pretty traumatic. I also blew my right knee out. That's something I'm gonna have to get fixed later. I also tore my rotator cuff again. That's also something I'm gonna have to get fixed later. The doctor was telling my girl, she said, hey, it was a good thing he was wearing a neck brace. And she was like, well, how do you know he was wearing a neck brace? And he goes, well, he broke his collarbone right here and here on both sides. And that's from wearing a neck brace. He said if he wasn't wearing his neck brace, he wouldn't be here. And if he was here, he'd be paralyzed. When I go to the track wearing a neck brace, usually isn't that cool? A lot of my friends don't wear them. And then whenever I put mine on and they don't put one on, I always ask them, I go, how many riders do you know that are in a wheelchair that had a neck brace on? And you can never name one. You might break your collarbone, which is not a big deal, but you'll be alive. That was about it for the injuries. The shit that went down in the hospital definitely has some weird shit. You don't have to believe it or not. You don't even have to watch this part of the video or not. If you just came here for the toys, just go to like the halfway point. Let's check it out. I do have some pretty good stories though. I was laying there. Every time I woke up, I had a new friend sitting there, which was amazing. The spirits were high. Everything was good. They'd always try to get me out of the bed and walk me up and down the hallway. And I would every time I had. And then one day, the nurse walked in. And I had some really cool nurses. All Sharp really cared about, I'm sure he cared about my injuries, but he seemed a lot more concerned about how hot the nurses were. Sharp, I'm in St. George. The nurses are fucking hot. There was one looked like the Incredible Mom. There was some bangers. I mean, I would pretend not to stare at their butt when they walked out of the room because my girl was over here. But I would get a peek from here to here. Yes, Shart. They were very talented up there. My girl was there. I was there in that hospital, for 15 days. And she never left my side. She was there the whole time. If she hadn't been there, I wouldn't be here today. She literally saved my life more times than once. She has a little nurse training, so she actually kind of knew what the fuck she was doing in there. Some of the nurses she'd butt heads with, kick them out of the room. And some nurses she worked with, and it was a really good thing. One night I was laying there, and I couldn't shit. My stomach was all fucked up. And it was causing problems. Like my stomach, my intestines had like flipped over. And they were like, if you don't shit, you're gonna be in deep shit. Like they're like, if he doesn't shit soon, we might have to put a shit bag on this dude. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of those or not. I've seen one before. And you definitely don't want one. It's where they cut your stomach and they tape this bag to your stomach. And whenever you eat, your shit just dribbles down the side of it. And I couldn't shit. And they were pushing laxatives and all kinds of shit at me, but it wasn't that. It was because my intestines were flipped over. So one night I was laying there in bed. My chick was there. And I didn't have a lot of feeling and a lot of stuff. Had a lot of pain pills going through me and epidural going through me. And I looked over and I go, babe. She's like, what? And I go, I think I might have shit the bed a little bit. And she's like, you did? And I go, I think I might have. I might have shit the bed a little bit. She goes, let me look. Pulls my legs up like a baby. And she goes, oh yeah, you did it a little bit. It's not too bad. I'll clean it up. While she's inspecting the shit, one of the cool nurses walks by, looks like the Incredible Mom, walks in and goes, no. Let me help. And I'm like, oh, great. One thing shitting in front of somebody, like shitting in front of my girls, no big deal. One thing shitting in front of other hot chicks, well, it takes a long time to break that wall. She calls one of the other nurses, which happened to be another one of the cool hot nurses. They come in. I'm laying on my back. My eyes, they usually put like Vaseline on my eyes for some reason. I don't know why. So a lot of times I can't see. I don't remember seeing much of this. They got me on my back and like 3 cheerleaders, they're sitting there rubbing my stomach. And they're going, poop, you gotta poop. I didn't know that if I didn't poop, I was gonna get a shit bag. If they would have just told me I was gonna get a shit bag, I'd have been pushing like I was trying to squeeze out a baby. I'm on my back, I'm embarrassed as shit. They go, don't be embarrassed, just do it. This is very important. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I open it up a little bit and I start shitting. And these 3 women are so excited, it looked like 3 girls in a cup. They're scooping it up, I guess. I don't know, I didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't see it. I don't know if I could have handled seeing it. They're scooping it up, cleaning it up, rooting me on. Do more. I'm like, giving you all I got, ladies. They roll me over on my side, cleaning me up again. And they're like, if you have to go more, go more. This is very important that you go. They start wiping my butt, cleaning my butt. Whenever they kind of wipe my butt, it tings a little bit. And I'm like, holy shit. It was like they pulled the lever on the soft serve ice cream at Dairy Queen. And I started going again, and they're rooting me on, going, come on, go. All of them are down there filling up their cups. And I start shitting all over the place. And they're so proud of me. And I'm like, God, this just for shit? Like, shit excites you this much? And then they roll me on my other side. And they're like, if you got any more, let's do this. And I started shitting again. It was embarrassing and rewarding all at the same time. But because of that, my stomach issues completely went away. My intestines got going in the right direction. Everything, it was like it was in a blender. Didn't shit for like a few days that I was there. Didn't realize how important it was because nobody would tell me. And then one day I was sitting there in my bed, and the nurse walks in, one of the cool ones. She comes down there being sweet, talking to me, asking me questions. And she goes, hey, did you, because my girl would always tell the nurses not to talk to me, like, don't let him know his condition. I want to keep his spirits high. but I was starting to think that my condition was pretty bad because I knew I'd been there for a few days. She comes in and sits down and she goes, "Hey, have you ever had an out-of-body experience?" And I go, "Yeah, funny you mention that." I go, "I don't know the timeline, but a few days ago, I saw myself in the operating room. Like I was like a black shadow. And then in the center of the operating room, there was an operating table. And I was laying in it, but I was just a black shadow. And then there was like 6 surgeons standing around me, and they were just a black shadow. And everything was just like between white and black. I didn't remember seeing any color. And I don't know if I was floating or walking or whatever. I don't know if it was a dream or bullshit or whatever. I'm just telling you what I remember. And I noticed as I was cruising around the room, there was a doorway that was completely white. There wasn't anybody over there. There was nobody calling my name. If there was, I probably would have went. And I noticed that the closer I got to the doorway, the pain would leave my body. And then for some reason, I got a signal that meant that I had to go back to that bed. So I'd walk back to the bed and the pain would get stronger and stronger and stronger. And then I woke up. And I told her about that. And the nurse goes, "Oh, okay. All right." And she knew what day it was. She knew what night I went in for surgery. And this happened to be all around Christmas time and New Year's, so that kind of sucked too. And I told her another story. And she goes, "Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, those stories sound familiar. I've heard those stories before." Then my girl walks in. I don't know where she went to go get a snack or something real quick. And I go, "Yeah, I was just talking to the nurse about some stuff." And I go, let me ask you a question. And I go, "What happened last night?" And it wasn't the shit night, it was a different night. And she goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it in a week." And then I go, "Well, I'm going to tell you what I remember, and you tell me if I'm correct or not." And she's like, "Okay." And she starts to well up a little bit. And I go, "Last night, I remember standing against that wall over there. This time everything was in color. I don't remember seeing like myself. I do remember seeing myself in the bed, but not really, because there was like 6 nurses or 3 nurses just completely surrounding me. I was in the room, standing towards the back of the room. And this time I was completely fucking over it because the pain was so great. And I was standing back there. I looked at the doorway and it was white again. I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get out of here." I went out of the doorway, and then when I got to the doorway, I looked up and down the hallway. This is the hallway that I'd walk every day for exercise. I looked down at the end of the hallway, and that was the real bright light. And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to start heading down that way." Started walking. And then as soon as I started walking, I heard my chick calling my name, crying, telling me to come back. And I knew right then and there what I had to do. Turned my little bitch ass around, went back there, jumped in that bed, and the flatline stopped. That night I was out for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And everybody goes, "Well, you get brain damage after 3 minutes." And I was like, "No, you get brain damage after 3 minutes. I got a 3rd grade education. So you're gonna have to hold me down a lot longer than that. Like if it starts at college, high school, I probably could have went 5 or 6 minutes without action into my brain." I told her the story. I told her how it happened. And the tears just start pouring out. And she's like, "Oh my God, that's what happened last night." And I go, "Well, what happened?" And she said, "Well, the guy who does the epidural came in here and said he needed to pull the epidural because it's Christmas, he wanted to go home. And I had it in for like 7 days. You're supposed to pull them after 7 days. And I had a lot of stuff going on with my body. I wasn't ready to have it pulled out. He pulls it without doctor's permission, without our permission. And I'm sitting on the edge of the bed. I won't go to bed, which I also don't remember. He swings my feet on the bed, then pushes me down flat on my back. And at that second, I flatlined. My chick freaked out. The dude took off. Code blue in the hospital. Everybody's running around crazy. I had more help than I know what to do. This big ass white dude jumps in, cool as shit. He was one of my favorite nurses. Comes in there, jumps on my chest, and just starts pushing. Meanwhile, I got like 9 broken ribs. Everything just got put back together. Re-breaks most of them. He's pushing on my chest for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. The other person has an oxygen bag. And I finally come to. My chick told me that's exactly what happened. And I was like, holy shit. And then like the next day after that, the nurses were like, do you feel like walking around? And it was different that day. Because where I was, it was in intensive care. I would walk up and down the hallways and just see these people that just came there to die. Because the next day they would be gone and somebody else would be there. It was crazy. Probably like 5 people would die a day on that, just in that one hallway alone. And this day it was different. I went out, went for my walk, walking up and down the hallway, and I get a standing ovation from all the nurses. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I didn't realize because it was because of the code blue. But that's what happened. Then after that, they just put me down to a lower unit, found some more stuff, took out some stuff. I had like 5 drain tubes coming out of me, 2 IVs, heart monitors. It looked like Doc Ock sitting in there. Had so much shit hooked up. Finally get to go home on New Year's Day. And then you know the rest of the story. If you're still here, let's check this shit out. All right, so I just watched my intro back. And I realized I forgot to tell you one of the most important things. From all the shout outs and all the love that I got from the toy community and everything back, there was one that stood out among the rest. 3PO Podcast threw me a shout, throwing me some love. And this made me feel like a complete asshole. You know when you're sitting there and you see like that fat dude running for the bus because he's late? And he's a little top heavy, so he falls and he scorpions the back of his feet, go all the way to his head. And your dumbass starts laughing. Well, this time I was the fat dude that just got done scorpion. But nobody was laughing. Instead, I was sitting there, and the person that helped me up was Dan Yun. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's one of the guys on the Hasbro panel, the one that wears the ball cap all the time. He sent me some love, and holy shit, I've never felt like more of an asshole in all my life. So Dan, thank you so much. And everybody else, thank you so much. I really appreciate the love. It helps more than you know. Whenever you know somebody in the hospital and then they're not looking good, make sure you get your ass down there because it means more to them than you will ever know. All right, let's get on to some of these toys. This is my wrap up for 22. After this, I will do my best of 22. This is basically just kind of a bunch of the stuff that came in real quick or came in when I was injured. And I do have some more stuff, but it obviously came later, so I'll do that like next year or this year at this time. We got a couple of Jurassic Park dinosaurs, which you guys know that I love. This one you push down, has a sound and an action. Definitely pretty cool. I'm going to throw him up there with the rest of my dinosaurs. You know some dinosaurs are going to be on my list. Try to get some of these out of here. I don't think that this one has a sound, but he does have an action. Sorry for bumping the camera. You move his tail, his head moves. Just a really cool dinosaur. I don't know how many more dinosaurs that they can make that I need. At this point, if they look really cool, I'll go ahead and pick them up. Let's go ahead and get this Donkey Kong out of the way. Toy Shiz tipped me off to this. Toy Shiz also threw me a lot of love when I was in the hospital, so thank him. He said that Macy's has a Toys R Us in it now. I don't know if they had it just for Christmas or whatever. They did. They had a Mario Kart or Mario section, Nintendo section. This is one of the ones that they had. I've always been missing this for my Mario collection. It's nice to have him. He's just a kind of whatever action figure, but he's Donkey Kong. You put him up there with your Mario, and it just makes for a really cool setup. Way back there in the back, we have Gore the God Butcher. I was always excited to get Gore the God Butcher, and then they showed him, and it was like an Amazon exclusive. He's like $30. He's definitely overpriced. He's completely pinless on the package, which sucks because when you get the toy, you realize that he's far from completely pinless. He comes with an extra hand, which is cool, but I'm not going to use it, and an extra head, which I think they absolutely killed it. I know my hands are a little shaky. I'm still on a lot of drugs right now. That's probably part of the reason why I'm able to even do this video. Then you have the figure. I actually kind of like the action figure. Of course, he's just another lazy, cheap repaint, but he does look pretty good. I think he's way too short. This is the Thor that you want to display him with. And I think that he should be at least an inch taller than the Thor. He's smaller than the Thor. That, I don't know, man. I think it's just another a Hasbro frill. Sorry, Dan. Like, I know you're not the one making the toys, but I still love you, bro. And another thing where they failed on this, you got Blackheart over here. You see the feet on Blackheart? That's what the feet are supposed to look like on Gore the God Butcher. He's not supposed to have fat girl cankles like that. That's kind of what my ankles looked like when I was in the hospital. Still kind of do. The swelling's going down. But they could have, if they would have put feet on this thing, like this, it would have made him like an inch taller. And then he would have been more in scale. And then he'd be a really cool action figure. And now he's just a mediocre one. And we get so many mediocre Marvel Legends to where this shit kind of starts to get a little old. Then back here you have Ulick. I think he's a Walmart exclusive. I already had the San Diego Comic-Con Ulick. And my buddy was like, oh, he's better. And I'm like, I don't know how much better he is. I went and looked at him, came home, looked at mine. And I was like, all right, he's a little bit better. It comes with better hands, comes with a better head, and actually comes with a weapon. And if you have the old one, you can give that right back to Walmart. So it's like a win, win, and then a win. And then you have the Amazing Spider-Man, like the original first appearance Spider-Man. I had the original one with the real cloth capes on it. I sold it because I knew this was coming out. That one had the weird ball joints. I actually got like 30 bucks for it, so I felt pretty good about it. And I kind of like this one more. I do love him. He comes with 2 sets of wings. The wings are weird. Like you put the wings on, you can only kind of hold him in that position. Then you put these wings on him, then you can only hold him in a different position. He comes with one of these fake, cheesy, shitty-ass webs, and they just don't work very good. On these webs, I did have somebody reach out to me on Instagram. They said that they make custom webs. I don't know if he sells the webs or not. I'm going to take a picture of, I'm going to do a screen grab of his Instagram and post it, and you can bug him, and then maybe he'll send you some, or you can buy some, or I don't know what he does. These are the webs. Like, look at how amazing that is. They are just so good. He can like hold it, he can shoot it. He puts a little hole in the end of it, and you can like pop his hand off, put the web in there, and like have it like it's coming out of it, which is just truly amazing. I love that. Once again, I'll put him on the tail end of the video in the pictures, and when you see his Instagram, he'll be the only Instagram page back there. And then go ahead and throw him a shout, see if he'll sell you a set or whatever. I highly recommend them. They're really good. Like, look at this web coming out of Spider-Man. Just kills it on that, man. It just looks so good. I know if I'm gasping or whatever, that's just kind of how I breathe right now. Hopefully, that's going to get a little bit better. The Spider-Man also comes with a shit ton of hands, which I don't really like extra hands and webs or extra hands and heads. I'd rather have like an extra or just a really cool accessory. Like, don't give me a bunch of shit that I'm going to put in my drawer. Give me some shit that I'm actually going to use. Then you have the Amazing Spider-Man and Friends. I know you're going, why the fuck did you buy that? I'm going, I don't know why the fuck I bought that, but I did buy it. As far as Spider-Man goes, you got these 3 right here. I'm pretty sure this one is the same as that one. And then you have the one from the 2-pack with the articulated toes. This one I thought was amazing. It was like, okay, this is the best Spider-Man that I own. And then I got this one when the 3-pack. I like him on the smaller, skinnier, less buff body mold. So now this is by far my favorite Spider-Man in the collection. The 3-pack I'm not gonna say it's worth it, but it's worth it to me just to get that Spider-Man, because he is by far my favorite Spider-Man. This one is just kind of like a whatever. I've always liked that Spider-Man. I've never really loved that Spider-Man, but there's a Spider-Man comparison. Let me get some of these out of here. Try to whittle this down a little bit and not take up your whole friggin' night. Get this Spider-Man out of the way. And back to the Amazing Spider-Man and Friends 3-pack. When I saw it, I was like, all right, I'm real big on the teams. I could have completed this team before, but I think they did a better job completing it. For one, you get a Spider-Man that's completely pinless on the smaller body, so that was a definite yes for me. Then you get the, what's her name, Firestar, on a pinless body. So you have the old one, which I was kind of cool with. And then this one has pins. The legs are skinny, single elbows, double elbows with no pins. This hair was never really painted that good, but then this hair, see how it has like red and highlight streaks and everything in it? Just much better. You get the vintage mask, regular mask, so you can have one for your new Warriors, and then you can have one for your Amazing Spider-Mans and Friends. So for me, the 3-pack was totally worth it. Like, I didn't feel like I was a sucker or I got ripped off or anything. Here's the other head that she comes with. You can put this on the other one just to get that good. Look how good the hair is painted. And she also gives you the dog. Again, the dog was white before, now it's beige. Something that we didn't want or ask for, but I'm always happy to have it. The Spider-Man comes with a grip of hands, so I'll just go in the junk drawer like everything else. And then you have the Iceman. The Iceman, to me, is just complete shit. Comes with extra hands. Once again, no big deal. They don't really look like Iceman hands to me. They give you the same sled that they gave you before with this Iceman right here. I mean, my favorite Iceman that they've did so far, I think, is the Age of Apocalypse Iceman. We're all still waiting for the perfect Iceman. The fact that they give us this with pins just really burns my butt. Like, I wish that they would have given us, if they would have just given us an Iceman without pins, I would have been like super stoked about it and loved it to death. I think that I actually got my money's worth. They didn't, so I kind of feel like I got ripped off on that one. I don't like the cell shading. None of the other ones in the set have cell shading, so I didn't understand that. I thought that was kind of stupid and didn't really make much sense. And then you have the Daredevil 3-pack. I know that thing sold out extremely quick. And then once they started shipping, they went back into stock. And I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You have all those characters, don't do it, don't do it. And I was like, fuck it. I looked at it, and then I was like, well, this is by far the best Daredevil ever. I'm pretty sure it's just the same exact as this Spider-Man. But you know they're going to reuse it and reuse it and reuse it as many times as they can possibly reuse it. But on this, I'm kind of cool with. It's the only pinless Daredevil that you can ever get. The nunchucks that he comes with the cool rope is really cool. Could you imagine if they would have used like one of these wire things? Let me find one. If they would have connected it with like this dude's like web thing and you could actually pose those nunchucks around, how cool that would have been. They didn't, they obviously didn't think that would be cool as we thought it would have been. Sorry, I knocked the camera off a little bit. The Daredevil does look pretty cool. The D's are pretty cool. I went through my Daredevils, you know, because I sold a lot of my Marvel collections, just trying to clean up collection, make it as small as possible, but still big. So I sold a bunch of other ones. Shit, I think I got like $30 from my old Daredevil that looked similar to this Daredevil that had pins in it. Somebody scooped it right up, so I was happy about that. Then you have this one. This is one that I have on my Defenders team. This one, he's still kind of my favorite Daredevil just because of the different colors on him, from the boots to the outfit. And this one's just all the same exact color. So this one's just kind of dull and doesn't really stand out much. But as far as the Daredevils that I kept in my collection, you got the vintage one, which I love. Like, this is like, you know, the bare bones of what you have to have in your collection. Like, you just have to have these ones. You got to have the mustard suit one. That's an absolute must. And then you have to have the black costume one, which is also an absolute must. So when you shave down your collection, I think pretty much the only one that I don't know, man. I think you need them all. I think that's about as small as you can shave down on your Daredevil collection. You can't really go any lower than that. Like, I think I cut it down as small as I could cut it down. Because you still want your collection to be cool and be kind of have everybody, but then you don't want to have too much where it's just clutter and crap. And then you have the white Elektra. I don't know if my camera keeps popping up or not. I know it's long and we're going through a lot. And I was like, wow, that's a good white Elektra. I had the original white Elektra, and this thing just looks like it's been to hell and back. Back in the day, they used to give you tons of paint. Look at the little silver like around the thighs and the boots and all the airbrushing and shit that they don't do anymore. But let's face it, the toy looks like shit. It's definitely time for an upgrade. And so then they give us this. And this thing with this crazy hair, I don't know when she looked like this, but I love this fucking toy. It looks so goddamn good. It looks so good. I can't say goddamn anymore because I just got brought back from the death twice. So I gotta start changing my ways a little bit and start being a better person. Completely pinless. I love this action figure to death. When I saw the Daredevil completely pinless, I kind of felt like I got my money's worth right there. Well, I don't know about my money's worth. I was happy with my purchase. She also comes with an extra head. Daredevil also comes with another zigzag rope. You just plug his nunchucks onto there, which would be cool if it had a wire instead. Look at the paint on this face. Just amazing. Like, so good. You get tons of extra hands. They all come with extra hands, which, you know, like, who gives a shit about that? Because that always just goes in my accessory drawer, which I would rather have cool power set accessories instead of extra hands. And then you have the Bullseye. I mean, I don't ever really remember him wearing a blue vest. Let me know in the comments, was this like a special thing? Is he in a team with this? Is he supposed to have this? It never really meant anything to me. You get the one with the target on the forehead. Again, we've already got this one before. I went ahead and put him on my Hawkeye body like this for my Dark Avengers team, which I highly recommend you do the same if you have an extra Hawkeye floating around. I'm pretty sure that's the Hawkeye that you want to use to do that with. So if you get this head, if you didn't get the old one with the head, you get this, you can do this, and then you have like the right Hawkeye for your Dark Avenger team, because you know how much fun it is to put these teams together. And so on this Bullseye, he's definitely the shittiest one. He's got pins. If he was pinless, I would be like, okay, now I can retire this one because this one also has pins, and then I'll just have the one with the blue vest, which I really don't remember much. But instead, I'm probably going to go ahead and get rid of this one. I don't need a shit ton of Bullseyes in my collection. It comes with the same accessory hand. This is what I like to see, shit like this. This is really cool. Do accessories that show their power set. And then he also doesn't come with a gun. Thank God for Voliverse. Man, it's really stuck in there. It's been in there for a month because I've been in the hospital for like a month. Let me see if I can get it out. I didn't realize that. Oh, there we go. That, and I'm also extremely weak. Got this gun from Voliverse. You can get those weapon packs. Put that thing in there. So he has a gun. This one, the one back in the day, actually came with a gun, but then this one doesn't. I don't understand that. Why would you do something like that? How did you forget to pack the gun in? I don't get it, man. That just makes no sense to me. So I'll probably get rid of him. I'll keep this Bullseye in my collection. And then we have the Black Panther figures back here. Try and get some of this shit out of the way. You have the white security cop. This is like the security guards or police, whatever. Once again, comes with a bunch of extra hands that I'm not going to use. He's supposed to come with a bunch of guns. I'm pretty sure those are the guns that he came with. He's supposed to have all kinds of straps and goggles and all that other shit. I saw one of Shart's video and he decked this guy out pretty good. And he actually looked a little bit more like he does in the comic books. This is a figure that nobody ever asked for. When they showed this off, nobody knew what the fuck he was. Everybody thought he was White Wolf, but he's not White Wolf. He's just a security guard. I I like to obscure characters. I'm always glad to add a new character in my collection. But if you said name 100 figures that you want, he wouldn't have been on the list. I don't know. Maybe it's just an easy repaint. That's why they threw him in the set. It's just not an easy repainted figure that I was looking forward to. Then you have the Black Panther. Once again, he also comes with extra hands, which doesn't mean shit to me. And then you have this. Of course, we have tons of Black Panthers. This is by far the best Black Panther ever made. If you're only going to own one, this is the only one that you need. This is the one that I have in my Avengers team because the blue matches a little bit better. You definitely kind of have, if you're going to, the Black Panther with the blue, he looks like that a lot. So if you see him, pick him up. Hopefully you already have one. He does have pins, but he's a very important Black Panther to have in your collection. Then you have this one, which I think is like a Walmart exclusive or something. This one made no sense. The long cape. I don't remember him having a long cape. I don't remember having a spear. He's just like a mashup of bullshit that they had laying around, and they felt like pumping out a Black Panther figure. And then you have this one. This one's by far my favorite. Completely pinless, completely amazing, real simple. I do wish they would have painted the lines on the boot, but it also doesn't bother me that they didn't because it's sculpted in lines, and it kind of like the same for me. Like it's kind of like a win-win. No matter how they did that, address that kind of works for me. So there you have the Black Panther. And then in the Black Panther set, you also had like another suited body. Granted, these things come in reusable boxes now, so if you need to pick up a couple extra figures, it's real easy to get rid of your old ones. I threw in some knives and guns that I had laying around. I don't know if they came with him or not, but you can't have too many suited bodies, so go ahead and take advantage of that when you can. If you see one, pick it up. And plus at Target, it seems like Marvel Legends go on clearance every single day. This is the Iron Man that I passed on just because I have so many Iron Mans. And Shannon called me up. He goes, dude, did you get that M70 Iron Man? And I was like, no, isn't that like, and he goes, no, it's brand new. New costume, new suit, pinless, amazing. And I go, holy shit, you're right. I went and looked for him, found him on clearance for 17 bucks. Could not get him on my shelf fast enough. This is probably the best Iron Man they have ever made. Like, I love this thing absolutely to death. Comes with the smoke effect, comes with the blast effects, completely pinless. He is by far the best Iron Man figure. I never realized how good he was up until now. And then you have the 2-pack. Once again, more extra hands, which you don't need. You got the Fallen one, which I had no clue who he was. When they showed him, I was like, who's that? And everybody's like, I don't know. And then I did some research, and I looked up all the Heralds of Galactus. There's like 20, 30, at least 20 Heralds of Galactus. So then I was sitting there going, well, all they need is Airwalker. We have them all. Airwalker is the coolest one. That's the one that we need the most. That one would also call for a new sculpt and new mold. Them carrying a lot of work. He's cool. He's not really one of the ones I really wanted, but it's nice to add him to your Galactus. We do have the Galactus. And then on the on the Terrax, when I was at San Diego Comic-Con, they showed him. I got a good look at him, took some pictures of him, went home, looked at the one that I had. I think it was a Build-A-Figure. And I couldn't tell the difference between them, so I took the old one, sold it on eBay for like 40 bucks. And now I have the new one because I knew I was going to get the old one. And holy shit, I think we're done. Seriously, all you guys that reached out to me, you literally saved my life. I cannot thank you guys enough. I hope you had a good Christmas. I was in the hospital for mine. Hope you had a good New Year's. I was also in the hospital for that. I'm starting to get back to work, just kind of like office shit and stuff. Hopefully here in a couple weeks, I'll be back in the field. He told me it's going to be like a 6-month recovery. Once again, thank you. I don't want to go too much or I'll probably start crying behind the camera and you'll think I'm a little bitch, which is fine. I might be. Next video I do top 10 of 22. Let's go, Brandon.